Greetings, friends and fellow aliens. It's been a hot minute since I have been on YouTube, and I thought I'd record something kind of quick just to have a conversation with you. I have a couple questions for you, and I want to talk to you about my current headspace and where it is and why I felt the need to take a step back from all things social media for the most part, except for like a couple of posts to Instagram here or there, but really that's it. And where I am now and what I've learned really over the past, I'd say 8 to 10 weeks, I think, since I posted my last video. So it has been a little bit of time that's passed. First question I have for you, though, and something I want you to ponder as I kind of talk a little bit about where I am on things, is the question of who are you? And we have a tendency to answer this question in terms of what we do. We identify ourselves a lot of times by our jobs. So when somebody asks, who are you? We tend to reply with things like, I'm a nurse, or I don't know, I'm a mechanic, or what have you, any number of professions that you may be. But that's not who you are. That's what you do. That's different. So I can answer that question. When somebody asks me, who are you? I can say, well, I'm an author, because I am. I can say that I'm a database programmer, because I do that as well. Or we identify it with who we are in a family unit. Somebody asks, who are you? I may say, well, I'm just a dad. Or I might say, I'm just a guy. It's a more complicated question than I think we actually realize, because our answers are often just surface level, and we don't really get down to the nitty-gritty. I heard an interesting thing, and it was actually Jordan Peterson was talking about Carl Jung, and he had said that there is this quote, I'm paraphrasing my boy Carl, right? But he had said something along the lines of it being in the darkest corners of your life where you find the most worthy light. And it's a really interesting quote for me, because I feel like in the last 8 to 10 weeks, I have gone on this sort of internal journey in my head. And I've looked at some very uncomfortable things for myself and in my own life and tried to make sense of them. Why do I react the way I do to certain things? Why do I think the way I do about certain things? Why does criticism cut me the way it does? All of these things, all of these questions, and I'm really just trying to dig into the answer and find what that answer is so I can alleviate some of the pressure and strain that I'm feeling in my own head, because it can be pretty brutal in there. The last 8 to 10 weeks or so, honestly, I've been all over the place. I've not been okay. Sometimes upset, sometimes in tears, sometimes happy and fine. Sometimes not sleeping, sometimes getting great sleep and still being tired somehow. But that's apparently a thing when you're an adult. Like, you get up and it's like, oh, so my back hurts. I guess this is my back now, you know? This is really good, by the way. It's oat milk and chai, and I'm digging it. I'm just saying. The second question I have for you is a follow-up to the who are you. Is, what do you do when you lose motivation? When you lose joy, when something that you have been doing that has been a constant in your life, possibly for years, all of a sudden feels fake, and it feels like you don't want to do it or deal with it. Now, I've been in this state many times. I've been in that state in terms of writing. I have been in that state in terms of just work efforts. I have been in that state in terms of cleaning the damn house, right? And I have certainly, lately, been in that state as far as YouTube goes. So I want to circle back to the who are you first, and then I'm going to explain a little bit about how I'm going through this stuff. For me, the who are you, it's something that I just kind of settle on, where I'm just prepared to answer this question like so. I am a human, and I am living a human experience. And I really feel like that pretty much covers it, because it's not about what I do. It's not about who I am or how I introduce myself to somebody. That's not who I am. It's not about these videos and the things that I share, because you're only seeing a few hours of my life. I've operated this channel for almost 3 years now. It's a little over 2.5 years. And 120 maybe videos, 130, somewhere around there. There's a lot. And sure, it's some hours of my life, but those aren't all the hours. So I figured a human living the human experience. That means watching myself experience the joys, watching myself experience the sadness, watching myself hurt, watching myself succeed. And all of those different things are part of the experience. And I've had a real struggle lately with the things I can and cannot control. And I think more than anything for me, the past couple months, is trying to really get a handle and take an inventory of what is within my control and what is outside of my control. And how do I let those things outside of my control affect me and direct me? In a lot of ways, we tend to see these issues that crop up in our lives as a direction of wind hitting our sails, so to speak. Something happened, I have to go this way. Something happened here, I have to go that way. I have to do something because some circumstance happened that I didn't have control over. And while that is true to a degree, that can run away and it can take you over. And I feel like it took me over. I never wanted this channel to be an INFJ channel, and it irritates me that people say that I have an INFJ channel and that I'm running an INFJ channel. True, it's probably a topic that I talk about more than any other topic. And as time was wearing on with these videos and trying to come up with more content related to it, there was this realization that I had to catch up to, because it was happening without me realizing it, and then it hit me. And it hit me in a major way. I've said everything I needed to say about being an INFJ. If you're looking for me to talk about INFJs and narcissists, I've done that video. I've done numerous videos on that. If you're looking for relationship, friendship advice, I have an entire advice series about being an INFJ and different relationships, friendships, and everything else. It's already up there. NITI Loop covered it. The INFJ Door Slam covered it. I got to wear a Totoro costume and run through a house with a chainsaw. I definitely covered that one. That was the INFJ Rage Mode. Door slamming, rage mode. I mean, getting into shadow function stuff, getting into how all of your functions act and interact with one another, discovering that you are, even more stuff about narcissists. I mean, look, I love you, my fellow INFJs. I do. And I think we fall into a trap. I think YouTubers in particular that deal with INFJ content fall into this trap where we try to say more than there really is available to say. I'm at that point now. I never want to do another video about narcissism ever again. I'm tired of the topic. It irritates me. I've said everything I needed to say. And there are channels that are much better than mine out there if you are looking for more content about narcissism. Dr. Ramani. Just go look her up. Ramani, I believe. And she's actually a clinical, like, she studies narcissism. That is a professional. If you are in trouble and you are in a relationship and you are dealing with a narcissist, her channel is the most informative and best tool you can ever have. I honestly don't think there is any other better channel about narcissism than hers. Go there. Please, go there. I'm not saying don't stick around here. I mean, I like you guys. But I'm saying there's a place and there's a resource for better information than some guy on the internet that's going to give you. When we continue talking about INFJ this, reasons that INFJs aren't liked by people, reason that INFJs are liked by people, stuff INFJs have a hard time with, things never to say to an INFJ, things you should always say to an INFJ, etc., 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 etc. It all just kind of jumbles together. And then, and this is what happened to me, I felt absolutely purposeless. That I am seriously just sitting here churning out videos about being an INFJ, talking about the INFJ experience, and that's it. But again, I come back to that question, who are you? It doesn't define me, and it shouldn't define you. MBTI is a tool, and you should use it as a tool to grow, a tool to get better. Keep it in its proper place, and don't let it become your identity. An important piece of you? Absolutely, 100%. It is a critical piece of who I am. And it's the reason I am where I am today and able to look at myself and say, you know what, I need to grow. And this is an area where I have trouble and I need to get better. It helps hold me accountable emotionally, mentally, physically, to understand how I am and how I act and interact with people. So that brings me to this channel and what I've been feeling and how I want to go about moving forward. Because I got into this pattern of wanting to create videos based on what people wanted to see. I'm done with that. I'm still going to touch on INFJ stuff from time to time on here, but not in such a dedicated fashion, because it is tiring talking about a topic for nearly 3 years, especially when I feel like I'm done. I've said everything I've needed to say so far, and I'm not going to sit here and be yet another INFJ channel that just starts to put up stupid memes and everything else. Sometimes it's fun, yes, absolutely, but there's got to be more to it. So I sat back and I took stock of what was really important to me. And what was important to me, at least what I really felt in my heart of hearts, that I let go of, and I shouldn't have, was in large part writing. There is nothing more important to me than my time putting words to page. I have these ideas, I have these visions, I have these characters that are yelling at me to write their words down. And I am happiest when I've been able to sit down and churn out 1,000 or 2,000 words. It feels amazing. It's euphoric. And when I get it down in such a way that I'm really happy with it, there's no better feeling for me. It really, truly is incredible. Because I'm taking this world that I close my eyes and I can see so clearly. And all I want to do is share that with other people. The movie that I'm watching in my head, I want to get it on a page. And I want to show it to somebody and be like, this was in my head. Isn't this cool? And I write as therapy. My story, my book, The Caretaker, is 100% a therapy novel for me. Nearly 3 years ago, my brother passed suddenly. And I was just writing that story and just starting the novel. And being able to write about themes of death and themes of loss and feelings of being directionless or having no friends or being lost and alone in a world and feeling like you have responsibilities, but you just don't care and you're checked out. All of the things that my main character went through in that book was something that I directly went through in my life. Obviously, minus the supernatural stuff. But those feelings and emotions, I think the reason that the book resonates with people as much as it does is because they're genuine. That's how I felt. Last year, my dad passed away. And so another kick in the gut. And I have not written very much since then. It's hard to sit here and say that I feel okay and that I feel purpose, because that's a very large chunk of my family that within a 2.5-year span, it's just gone. Now, I don't say all this to try and drag you down or anything like that. I'm merely having a conversation with you. And I do want to know who you are and what is your thought process when you really dig in and think about that, not in terms of what you do, how you act and interact with the world, but really deep down. What are you? What is your consciousness? How is it represented? Or do you really believe that you are just thoughts in a brain, in a physical vessel in this world? Is there more to it than that for you? Or do you define yourself by your faith, which you may? To me, that's not you. Your faith is an element of you, but that's not who you are. So it is a really interesting question. Give it some thought, and I want to see some good answers to this. So folks, I took this time to reset. I redesigned my webpage and kind of changed the look a little bit, pared it down, went a little bit more minimal with it. I even redid some stuff on my Instagram, and so definitely hop over there and give me a follow if you haven't. I enjoy interacting on that platform a lot. In some ways, it's just much easier than YouTube, and particularly for just having some conversations and comments and things like that. And I'm redoing this YouTube page. If you look at my channel banner, the channel banner is different, and I'm ready. I'm ready to put everything that I've done in the archive and start totally fresh. So what are you going to see here? You're going to see more content about writing, because that is the most important thing to me right now. And I don't operate this YouTube channel for you. I operate this YouTube channel for me. And I need to make sure that I am communicating the things that I want to, so I am happy and I'm balanced and I continue. And I hope you stick along for the ride. I absolutely want to talk about mental health struggles, anxiety, PTSD, and those things that up until a couple years ago, I didn't have to worry about. But they're hitting now. I'd like to share with you some of my creativity tools, how music moves me and what kind of music moves me to create and moves me to feel balanced and better and have some joy. Some of the tools that I use to write, some of the ideas that I'm working on, all of these kinds of things that are grounded in a real person and real emotions in a real world. And how can we express those and express them in a creative way so that they'll resonate with other people? One of the chapters in the book that people are always commenting on is chapter 21. Fun story. Chapter 21, I wrote that chapter years ago and even published a YouTube video about it. It was a look into my INFJ mind. I don't know if I still have it up or not. I might. It's in there somewhere. It's in the archive somewhere. But that chapter is a variation on a piece that I wrote many years ago when I was really struggling with this question: who am I? And what would it be like to see myself as an outsider? but inside of my own brain. I know that sounds really abstract, but that was the whole purpose behind it. And when it was time to write the book, I'm like, you know what? This chapter would fit in perfectly right here. And it was as if though I knew this story had to come out years ago. And I just wrote something and kept it on the burner. Really low heat. Barely a simmer. Until it was ready to get out into the world. And that chapter, more than any other, I have people DMing me. I have people writing reviews about it, saying that chapter had them crying or had them tearing up. And it gave them a different outlook on how they are and who they are and how they treat themselves. That's what I want to do. That's a purpose that drives me. Taking something that I am feeling and an emotion, pouring it onto a page, handing it to somebody, and having them say, oh my goodness gracious, how? How'd you nail that? And how did it affect me that much? Or I can't get it out of my head. I have people write to me that say that too. They read the book a year ago, and it's still stuck with them. That makes me really happy. And I'm working on book 2, and I'm going to do it again. And as for YouTube, I took this time off. I let my subscriber count go to a crawl. I let my analytics tank. I make zero money off of this channel, even with 16,500 subscribers. Because YouTube's not showing anything to anybody because I'm not on here. And you know what? It makes me happy. Because it feels like a fresh start now. So, that's what we're going to do. Look for a video from me in the coming days. I'm going to change things up. I'm going to experiment a little bit. I'm going to try some different things and different topics. And basically just do what's going to make me happy. If you have stuck with me and you've watched this video, and all I can say is that I appreciate you. Because this channel and you as commenters and as watchers, you have really pulled me from some dark places. Being able to speak my mind and say what I want to say and have it resonate has made a massive difference for me. And it lets me know that I'm reaching out and reaching people, and I'm doing good in this world. And it's a net positive. It's just like being in a park. You know, I want to leave the place a little cleaner than I got there. I'm just trying to do that with the world in general. And all the while, trying to make sure that I am okay. I will be, even if I'm having moments here or there. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me, for being on this journey with me. I cannot tell you how much love I have in my heart for you. I appreciate you so much. And I really just hope you'll stay. Stay with me. Stick around. If it does really bother you that there's not going to be as much INFJ content on here, you are free to go. No hard feelings. Off you go. There are other channels. There's other ways to dig in. But if you like the way I talk about these things, mental health and writing and creativity and just being expressive and honest and open, then stay and let's hang out. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be helping each other out more and more as time goes on. So again, thank you. Thank you for watching this one. Look for some more content. I'm coming back. I'm on my way back. Might be a little sketchy during the holiday season. I've got some driving to do and all those kinds of things and family and whatnot. But I'm here and I'm getting back to it. Tomorrow morning, I've got a writing day ahead of me. I'm going to try and do a little bit of vlogging on that to show you just kind of what I'm doing and what I'm going through in terms of my writing days, my precious, precious writing days that I get really cranky when I don't have, by the way. So I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you so much. And I will catch you on the next video.